Hey, it's Smokey of the Fellowship of the Much Obliged. Now, today, I will be sharing with you what this band stands for, what this project wants to accomplish, the real meat and potatoes behind why I started it. So, back when I was 19, so this was 2017, roughly, I had just been out of high school for like a year, wasn't doing anything. I was one of those people of like, I took the gap year, but I accidentally took a gap year because didn't have my license for the first semester, didn't have a car for the next. Then I went to Quinsig. So for those of you who don't live in Massachusetts or central Massachusetts, Quinsig is a community college out of Worcester. So I went there for like a semester, dropped out. So I am a community college dropout. Not a college dropout, a community college dropout, which is funnier. And I dropped out to pursue music. Why did I drop out to pursue music? Because out of that whole time, right out of high school, up until then, I was in a terrible headspace. Didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Didn't know where I was going. Pretty much just was getting annoyed because all it devolved to was everybody was telling me what to do, but I didn't agree with what they wanted me to do. But what I wanted to do, everybody was just hating on. And so I remember making the decision. It was December. And I remember making the decision going, I'm going to finish my one semester at Quinsig, and then I'm pursuing music. Because that summer before, one of my coworkers got me back into writing songs, and it helped me a ton. And I made the realization that music saved my life more times than I could count. And most of my teenage years, I was pursuing wanting to do law enforcement. And I had a realization of law enforcement's great, but law enforcement helps people after the fact or right when it's too late. I wanted to help people before the problem started. And for me, that's what music's done. Music helps people throughout the entire journey of their issues, whereas law enforcement's right at the end. Like, yeah, there's preventative things, but it's normally like right after stuff happens. So I made the decision of I'm pursuing music. This is what I want to do. I also had the realization of when you add up all of the finances of guitar lessons, equipment, da 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 da, I'd put way more money at 19 into music at that point than I did college. So there's my bigger debt. Let's just go that way. Yeah, that was a hard jump because everybody criticized it. Everybody. I had maybe like 3 people in my corner at that point on it until people started realizing what I wanted to do. So, and that's where you get the definition and the meaning behind Fellowship of the Much Obliged, because it was originally just going to be called the Fellowship, because I am too nerdy for my own good, and it's also a reference to specific other literature like self-help literature, and realized that was another band, so I was like, okay, I'll just add more to this. And I think I was listening to like Led Zeppelin or something, and they said Much Obliged, or I was listening to more Led Zeppelin at the time, and in one of their songs they used the phrase Much Obliged. And so I was like, oh, that would be a good band name, of Fellowship of the Much Obliged, which is just a short, or not a short, it's a longer version of saying a group of people that are thankful. And that's what I wanted to do, was I wanted to create a project of just a group of people that were thankful for the music, wanting to help. And how I've always viewed it is it's not just me and whoever jumps into the band with me is part of that fellowship. You guys are also part of that fellowship along with me and whoever decides to play with me throughout the years. Hence why anytime on social media I refer to you guys as my fellowship family, because you are part of the fellowship. But so since I started it in 2017, this band so far has been a one-man band. Now, why has it been a one-man band? Well, because at first it was I was getting the project up and running, and then by the time I had this room built and I already had like the album written, or White Castle, which already came out back when I was writing that, and all these things, by the time everything got set up and the people that were going to come in and help me record, COVID hit 2 weeks after this room got built. So right when we were already going to have people come in, we didn't, for safety reasons. So then I had to learn how to do practically everything. So it's been a one-man band ever since. And that will change, hopefully, but for the time being, it's currently a one-man band as of filming this video. Most people would probably say that it being a one-man band, that's not a rock band. Who says it's not? There's a handful of albums where they were written and recorded by one person, then they had hired guns after the fact help play live. And I've always been the person of, I'm a stickler for rules and I'm super rigid, but at the same time I'm the person of, here's all the criteria. And I will look at it and go, well, the criteria said this. But technically, it never said I couldn't do this. And then I'm always the person that beelines while still technically fitting into the criteria. And where this is taking me is, well, with that logic, what is rock and roll? Well, rock and roll started in 1955. Rock and roll went from 1955 to 1979. 1980 on, it broke up into rock and different rock genres. So, originally, what did rock and roll stand for? Well, it's anti-establishment. Now, over the years, what is the themes of rock and roll? Sex, drugs, rock and roll. There's your three themes. But, so, 1955 to 2022, you could argue rock has formed its own establishment of itself. It has its own tropes. So, fitting the theme of anti-establishment, rock is anti-establishment, but when it's become an establishment of itself, what is the most rock and roll thing you can do in 2022 then? Be everything for original rock and roll was against. Hence why you get a lot of like more formal old school values out of a lot of my songs. Like, hell, I wrote a song over the winter that's glorifying marriage. I wrote another song that hasn't come out yet either, where it's me talking about Jezebels. If you don't know what a Jezebel is, look it up. It's a Bible reference. All these different things. And there's so many people that get mad at that because their general trope is like, when you hear rock music, you think distorted guitars, big drums, and then the themes of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Yeah, musically, I will share all the same similarities, but thematically, a lot of what I'm writing about is different because it's what I think is anti-establishment now. Because the mainstream establishment has argued and tried pushing to people, we are anti-establishment, which is funny because the establishment is now, the main establishment is anti-establishment. So the anti-establishment isn't pro-establishment, it's more anti-establishment, I guess is the better way, because there's a difference between pro-establishment and anti-establishment. It's like, you're not my ally, you're just my enemy of my enemy kind of argument. And I'm rambling semantics, but hopefully you get my point. Yeah, so that's how I view rock music today. Is rock is an establishment of itself. So modern rock is gonna be anti normal general rock themes. And I do that because, well, I've always wanted to help people. And so I don't play for the massive group of people there. Yeah, that's fun. If you enjoy it, great. I play for the one person that doesn't want to be there, that's down on their luck, having a hard day, that got dragged out by their buddies, that hopefully hears the themes of the songs I wrote, the songs I intend to cover, and get something out of it. It's the equivalent of when the one out of the 100 gets lost, you walk away from the 99 to go make sure the one is okay. And yeah, I just want to help people. Rock is now in 2022. Everything, in my eyes, it's everything against what original rock and roll was for. Um, if you want to join the Fellowship family and see where we go with this, please hit like and subscribe to the Fellowship of the Much Obliged YouTube account. I'll be posting more videos. Yeah, I always get tripped up because I always want to say we as in the project, but it's just me, so it confuses people all the time of I'm using we as in the entity, but it's just an I. Yeah. See you in the next video. Smokey out.